What's up, YouTube? His dad showed the Underground Warrior. This is going to be a video on how to escape the Underworld. If anybody is watching this from the Nether Realms, this video isn't for you. It's for the people of Earth, the chosen ones. And not only, also for the Star Seeds, Lightbringers, and anybody who ever just needs to escape their lower self. So how do you escape the Underworld, aka your lower self? One tip I could say is don't damage your mother. That being your physical mother who gave birth to you, and also Mother Gaia. Mother Earth needs to be nurtured. Not littered on, not spit upon, not treated like garbage. We've become parasites on this earth by always thinking that we can just become spoiled children, you know? And with that said, you know, thinking that our mother is always going to give us more and more and more and more. You can't always be relying on your mother, even though it's natural, you know? It's easier said for someone more independent than someone who's struggling. But this has to do with our Mother Earth too, not just our physical mother, you know, wanting to take and never give back. It's how we slaughter animals. It's how we take all produce, you know, vegetables straight from the ground, never plant anything back. Take all the fruit. Just the consumer society, if you know what I mean. Just take, never give back. Lots of taking can get you stuck in the underworld, aka your lower self. And, you know, we have like a hive mind about this society and how it's run, and it's kind of like a copy and paste spider web with everyone, if you know what I mean. And this also has to do with like social media, if you know what I'm talking about, like the applications we have. They kind of, the hive mind stuff, it gets rid of our spiritual identity. Not only that, our spirit and identity. And this can be seen on like YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. It's infested with archons, man. If you look at what's popular, it's like low vibrational shit, man. It's obvious that having balls and being an idiot can get you successful, but having balls and being intelligent will have you be hyper successful. But being intelligent and not having any balls will just have you hyper depressed. So what I'm getting at is, you know, these archons that are on these platforms, bro, what is influencing us? You know, it's crazy how many OnlyFans creators gets like millions of content views and like likes, and they're probably getting paid really well, you know, but these people secretly live in the underworld, and in the aka the lower self. You know, they're usually tied to chains of lust, chains of consumerism, or chains of you know, kind of being binded by archons, blindfolded, unaware that they are. Some are aware and they continue to operate in the underworld. So if you want to continue being in the underworld in your lower self, that's up to you, man. I'm here trying to get you out that bee. And not only are these places, these applications infested with archons, but it's also like mainstream luxurious elite people that be infested with archons. It's crazy that actually successful people can be controlled by entities that keep them in their underworld, which make them look positively successful, hyper independent, and really amazing, you know, figures, but secretly these people are operating in the underworld. I'm talking about like rappers, man, like, don't want to list a bunch, but like Playboy Cardi, Megan Thee Stallion, shit, man, even Taylor Swift, like artists. If you look deeper in the lyrics and what these people are saying, it's so degrading. It's a degenerate society where we operate on, or those artists operate sometimes not only on positive things, because sometimes these people can get lit with their works and make a positive message, but other times these people are pushing messages on pushing drugs, on killing each other, on disrespecting women, on thinking everything is just copy and paste like upon those topics, if you know what I mean. And this influences people heavily. And a lot of people who are idol worshippers go straight to the underworld with those people that look like high elite people. And this doesn't help our society, man. I'm spitting some straight facts right here. I'm trying to get people out this underworld, man. Another thing that gets you stuck in the underworld is if you have attachments to your material items. This is why I say less is more. Some people have so much attachment to their material possessions that does not help them. It gets them straight attached to the underworld, man. The more you have, you're not gonna go to the grave with any of your material items. But according to Samsara, if you have attachments to these material items, or like drugs, or like things that you just can't get out with, maybe even substances, maybe not even material items, but even substances are material items. Upon death, if you are attached to these things, you will just be back in the same loop of samsara, which is the reincarnation cycle, only because of your attachments. And I'd like to make another video about samsara, but I'm gonna stop right there with that. Make sure that you own your items; they don't own you. So even if you do have a lot, because as the Bible says, or it was in this one verse, for who has, more shall be given. So you kind of gotta be protective of your stuff. It's actually valuable, but and to those who don't have less, they will get taken from them, if you know what I mean. So yes, it's cool to be possessive about your things, but detach from them. Do not be materially obsessed with your material objects. You must be detached, because if you're not, this can just be a straight portal to the underworld, bro. Make sure that your material items don't weigh your heart down. And not only that, sometimes it's said that the more material items you have, the more it can actually weigh your heart down. People so obsessed with their sneakers, bro. Like, I got the more people so obsessed by having the coolest shoes, getting a brand new pair of shoes, getting tattoos, getting new piercings anywhere they want, man. Like, and don't even look inside of what their own soul looks like. You know what I mean? Being obsessed with that type of materialness, like looks, what you look on the outside, your shoes, how awesome you are with your new tattoo filled with darkness, but you ain't even looking at your own soul, man, trying to fix what's inside of you, so that you're just stuck in the underworld. And yeah, it's hard, man. If you got archonic attachments on you, it's difficult to get rid of these archons sometimes. They could latch in your subconscious and your thoughts in crazy places. So this is why we got to be careful of the music we're listening to and what we let entertain us. Because sometimes a lot of entertainment industry now and music industry gets us straight attached to the underworld. If your heart is heavy, you can't ascend. If you're attached to these material items and your heart is heavy about them, you won't be able to ascend, bro. Like, this is why I say make sure you're owning your things and they're not owning you. You gotta make sure your stuff isn't cursed too, because you never know, someone might gift you an item, and you might, if you don't have the spiritual discernment, it could be a cursed item, and all of a sudden you're attached to it, and that item is throwing you into a loop to the underworld. So your heart has to be lighter than a feather. And why do I say this? Because if your heart is not lighter than a feather, you will also not ascend. This has to do with the 42 ideals of Ma'at and 42 laws of Ma'at. You guys can search that up on your own and follow those if you'd like. It will help your heart actually become lighter than a feather if you follow those rules. Agents, consumers, elites. There's agents thrown at you sometimes to get you thrown into the underworld, whispering MK Ultra or thoughts or certain trigger words into your subconscious so that you get stuck either in a consumeristic state of mind. Sometimes it's even in commercials where people get addicted to like certain items, and then that type of addictions, samsara, like what I was talking about earlier. The consumerist society really is something that that gets people thrown in the underworld. That's why I recommend fasting to people, not only from food, but sometimes from entertainment, music, and stuff that could make you feel down. You got to make sure you're really careful about that type of stuff. Elite people, man, I swear. They look so nice, bro. They might be beautiful on the outside. They might got everything going on, millions of dollars, but these people stuck in the underworld. And the ones who do try to escape out of it and have their hearts lighter than a fender and ascend out, they get deemed as crazy because they were stuck in the underworld signing blood contracts and stuff like that. And then once they try to escape, especially if they're involved with Hollyweird, is they just get labeled as crazy. And these people are really just trying to save their own spirit and soul. Shout out Jim Carrey. Uh, you know, with the material items or anything in life which you might have attachments to, you need to let it go or be dragged and reattach to yourself. Like they said in Avatar, the Fire Nation master, I forget his name. Master Roku was his name. He explained to Aang one time that it wasn't always about detachment, but sometimes it was about reattaching to yourself. And that's why I make this video, so that you guys can understand it's really not about always just trying to detach from everything externally, even though that does help. It's about reattaching back to your spirit and to who you are outside of this hive man mentality, outside of what this matrix constructs for us. I hope this video found its way into your mind, enlightened you, got you a little bit more in your spirit and, identity. Dad Show 777. Peace out.